Hi, and welcome to this live reading from The Blood Prince by Ayla Marie, and this is presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Chapter 1, Leo. I see every person passing by, but not a soul can see me. The hood of my usual midnight blue cloak is pulled low over my face to keep me hidden from any wandering eyes. I pull my favorite dagger from the dark leather sheath strapped tight to my thigh. It has a thick blade and a pommel of old cedar inlaid with copper wire worn to the shape of my hands. I drag my fingers carefully along the edge, feeling the cold bite of the steel against my skin. It slices into my pinky, drawing a single drop of blood. I don't flinch. The sight of blood stopped making my stomach roll along a long time ago. A door creaks open across the road from where I stand. My target emerges from the only completely dark shop along the lamplit street as the clicking of heels against stone bounces through the air. Two stalking shadows follow close to her sides, crouching low to the ground. I sneer at the sight of the dogs, snarling and snapping at the passing rats. They're going to make this interesting. I keep to the shadows, blending in with the night as I stalk silently closer to my prey. She's a cunning con artist, known for tricking even the smartest businessmen. They obviously weren't thrilled with being deceived. I know you're there. You're good at using the darkness, but my job is to find what is being hidden, she says. Her strong voice hangs eerily in the smoggy air. You're not afraid, I call, my voice sprinkled with amusement. I let my good conscience float to the back of my mind while the demon living in the depths of my being takes hold. You should be when facing with a dangerous person, I say. Keep her talking. Let her think she can feel me out. And why would I be afraid? The people who hired you are too cowardly to kill me themselves. The fact they want to kill me tells me that I am seen as a threat, and I consider their fear a personal compliment, she states merrily as her squinted eyes rove over the darkness. It shouldn't be, I say evenly. A huffed laugh escapes from deep in her chest. You sound like you've seen much in your days. Why don't we find a way to make a deal? I can use an extra mercenary in my ranks, she says as a smirk forms on her lips. She's a rising boss, then. Interesting. But if I'm going to take you in, I do need to see who exactly I'm hiring. A true snake. I sheath my blade carefully back into its scabbard and step into the light. I glance up just far enough to reveal my face to the woman. She takes a couple sure-footed steps toward me. The mutts snarl as they pick up on my scent, baring their teeth. They seem to be the smartest ones in their little band. Her eyebrows shoot up as she takes me in. As quick as the surprise hits her face, she stows it away and hardens her expression to stone. She scoffs to herself, eyeing me up and down. You're but a boy. Oh, you must be lost. Do you want me to walk you home? Your mother and father must be terribly worried, she says mockingly, not trying to disguise the cruel smile playing across her face. I let her words fly past me, keeping my expression expertly cold. She won't be speaking like this for much longer. She won't be speaking at all, for that matter. I take my dagger into my hand once more and spin it between my fingers. Do you recognize this blade? I ask, staring right through her. She pales as her eyes stick to the weapon in my hand. It's tasted the blood of many other arrogant fools exactly like you. You underestimate people you should not, like all those who have come before you. And, like them, you'll end up dead. Your corpse left propped against a wall for the body men to drag away. The hilt of my weapon sits snugly in my hand as I hold her fearful stare. The body men are less like people and more like mindless monsters who've lost their souls. They never speak and are only seen lurking when they're dragging the dead to the morgue. You can't be the Blood Prince. Your eyes aren't red, she snaps, but I can hear the shudder lurking beneath her words. Oh, you mean like this? My eyes flash crimson as I let my primal senses take hold. Everything I see takes on the hue of red I've come to know so well. My muscles tense and relax as power surges through my veins. I sheath the dagger at my side and reach behind my back to grab two long, thin slayers, twin killers perfectly crafted, with hilts wrapped in a deep navy blue leather. The same leather as both my sheaths and the straps I wear across my body. I take a step toward her as she stumbles over her feet. Without a second thought, she lets go of her snapping dogs with a high-pitched whistle. The first dog launches at me, its teeth set on the flesh of my throat. With a single move, I wrap my arm swiftly around the dog's neck and pull away. My blade slices through its soft flesh like air. The dog drops to the ground with a thud, drowning on something much worse than water. The second dog jumps moments after the first, sinking its teeth deep into my arm. A frustrated growl escapes my chest as I hit the dog in the temple with the butt of my blade. It lets out a high screech and drops my arm like a scolded puppy. The dog shakes off the blow, giving me enough time to prepare myself for its next attack. It lunges for my legs, baring its bloody teeth. I swing my leg back and land a crunching kick to its ribs. Whimpering, it tries to limp away, but falls to the ground before it can crawl back to its shaking master. I meet the lady's terrified gaze. Nothing will stand between me and getting paid. I wipe the blood dripping off my blades onto the leg of my worn trousers and take a step toward her. Snapping into reality, the lady raises her arm, holding a small dagger tightly in her shaking hand. I place my slayers back behind me and take out a small steel throwing knife. I flip it once as I take another few steps closer and let it fly. She drops her meager blade as my knife embeds itself deep into the flesh of her hand, a wild, guttural scream bursting from her throat. Her stare burns into me. It's the last thing she has, the last weapon she can wield, a feigned confidence. The sad thing is, death doesn't care about wits, only how long you can survive and what price you're willing to pay for the time. If you're going to kill me, you owe me a death wish, she says, her voice unwavering. Kill my kids for me after I'm gone. I stop, my concentration slipping as my siblings' faces pass through my mind. I narrow my gaze and let my instincts take the reins once more. As if she could sense that my guard was down, the lady launches at me with the dagger switched to her working hand. I pull back and miss, getting slashed in the throat by no more than a hairbreadth. My shirt clings to my shoulder like it's been drenched as I regain my footing. I roll it slowly, feeling the skin over my collarbone move strangely, as if it weren't in one piece. She thrusts again, jabbing the knife at my stomach. I catch her hand before the steel embeds itself in my gut and twist her wrist hard. The knife clatters to the ground as I spin her around and force her arm behind her back. Trapping her against my chest, I pull my blade out of the sheath strapped to my thigh and hold it to her throat. With a swift kick of my leg, she falls heavily to her knees. I owe you a death wish, I say flatly, emotionlessly. Go to hell, she spits. Ladies first. I run the blade smoothly over her throat, and just as fast as it started, it's done. I wipe the blood from my hands and place my dagger back in its scabbard. I heave a sigh and drag her to the nearest wall, propping her up against it. I close her eyes and cross her hands over her lap. Grabbing her bleeding hand, I pull my knife free and put it back with its sisters attached to the bandolier running from my shoulder to my side. I pick up the blade she's dropped and tuck it into my boot, the cold steel biting against my skin. I stand and turn to walk away, not wanting to look at her corpse any longer than I already have. I freeze as the sound of thick boots hitting the stone street fills the air one after the other like an easy melody. I straighten as they stop behind me, far enough away I wouldn't be able to reach him if I turned. Why do you close their eyes after you kill them? A deep voice asks. Even though he always shows up, I never quite get used to the way Mr. Vela lurks in the dark. Why not run and leave them to bleed? Do you have my pay? I ask, keenly aware of his movements, even with my back turned. Yes, when have I not had it? I turn to face one of the most feared arena bosses in Tominay and close the gap between us in 2 strides. Mr. Vela tosses the small pouch in his hand, the sound of clinking coins filling the silent street. I reach my hand out to take it, but he pulls back, tilting his head to the side with a dark smile. You never answered me, boy, he chides, dangling the bag in front of my face like a master to his dog. Cold rage seeps through my bones. I'm going to do the world a favor by ripping his head off his shoulders one day. I keep my mouth shut and hold his dark gaze. You're imagining what it would feel like to kill me, aren't you? Well, you know, the minute you disobey me, you get put back into the open. Your family will pay for your mistakes, he says with a cruel smile. I kick up the back of my boot, sending a knife flying into the air. I catch it and press the edge of his throat as my mind goes blissfully clear. Oh, no. Did I hit a soft spot? Oh, poor boy, he says sarcastically, staring into my bloody eyes like there's nothing strange about them. My stomach clenches as he holds my stare and pushes closer to the blade, daring me to slit his throat. He's a lunatic, but a clever, filthy rich one nonetheless. I have to say, though, you're getting good at hiding your knives. Good idea with the boots, he adds, eyeing them curiously. With a frustrated growl, I snatch the bag from his hand and place the blade back into the small compartment built into the sole of my boot. I back away slowly, my eyes lingering on his form. I'm bound to this man's word, and I hate it. When I get far enough away, I toss the bag around in my hand, testing the weight. It's lighter than usual. I curse under my breath as I run a bloodied hand through my hair. This isn't going to be good.